Commander Elias Kane adjusted his visor and looked out across the purple-hued horizon of Gliese 94b. The planet's surface glimmered with crystals that reflected the light of the distant sun in 1,000 colors. His spacecraft had just landed, following a faint, irregular signal that the fleet's sensors could not identify. Elias had been on hundreds of missions, but something about this signal felt different. He stepped onto the ground, the atmosphere light but breathable. The air was filled with a faint hum, like soft music vibrating through the air. His boots made little marks on the crystal-like soil. He activated his scanner, which picked up traces of life forms nearby. One signal stood out. It was humanoid, but unlike anything Elias had ever seen. Then he saw her. She appeared at the edge of a crystalline grove, a figure tall and elegant. Her skin shimmered faintly like polished opal, and her hair floated slightly, as if moved by its own current. Her eyes glowed a soft, gentle blue, and she held out her hands in a gesture that seemed welcoming rather than threatening. "Hello," she said, her voice melodic and calm, yet somehow carrying warmth that immediately put Elias at ease. "You are far from home, human. I am Lyra." Elias blinked, astonished. He had expected a creature, but not this being. She looked almost peaceful, completely unlike the dangerous life forms he often encountered on alien planets. Still, he was a trained commander. "I am Commander Elias Kane, United Earth Fleet. I received your signal. Are you in danger?" Lyra's eyes softened. "No. The signal was a call for contact. I wish to meet someone from your species. Come. My home is not far." Elias hesitated. Part of him wanted to trust her, to believe in the calm openness in her voice. Part of him reminded himself that this could be a trap. But curiosity won over caution. His life had been filled with strange encounters, but something about Lyra made him feel safe. They walked together through the crystalline grove. Lyra's movements were fluid, almost floating, while Elias's steps were deliberate and cautious. The ground beneath them sparkled with faint light, responding to their presence as if the planet itself was alive. "This planet, it's beautiful," Elias said, taking in the surroundings. "I've never seen anything like it." Lyra smiled. "It is our home. We value harmony, balance, and understanding. Many of our visitors do not see beauty in such simplicity. But humans, you notice." Elias felt a strange sense of pride. Humans had always been explorers, always curious, always seeking to understand. And here, in the presence of this alien woman, he realized that human curiosity was also a strength. They arrived at a large structure that seemed to grow naturally from the crystals around it. The walls were translucent, shifting colors as though alive. Elias paused, amazed. "You live here?" Lyra nodded. "Yes. My home is open to those who seek understanding. Come inside." The interior was even more astounding. Walls of light and crystal twisted and turned, forming corridors that seemed to stretch farther than the eye could see. Floating orbs illuminated the space, changing color as Elias walked. Strange symbols, glowing faintly, moved across the walls. Yet, despite its alien nature, the place felt welcoming. Elias followed Lyra deeper into the structure, noticing details that amazed him. Tools that seemed to work without hands, machines that floated freely, and devices that hummed with energy. Yet nothing felt violent or dangerous. "Do all your people live like this?" Elias asked, his voice filled with awe. Lyra shook her head. "No. Many choose simplicity. I prefer to understand and explore. It is why I sent the signal. I wanted to meet you, human, to see the mind of your kind." Elias frowned slightly, unsure of how to react. "Why me?" Lyra's eyes glimmered. "Because humans are unique. You are clever, brave, and unpredictable. I wish to see if you can understand without judgment, if you can act with reason in a world you do not know." For a moment, Elias felt a strange mixture of pride and caution. There was no threat in her voice, but her words hinted at a challenge he could not yet fully understand. Lyra led him to a chamber filled with softly glowing crystals. They pulsed gently, creating a rhythm in the room. "Sit," she said, gesturing to a smooth platform in the center. "You must rest. Your journey has been long, and there is much to see." Elias obeyed, noticing that the crystals responded to his presence, their glow adjusting to his movements. It was as if the room itself was alive, aware of him. He had encountered many advanced technologies in his career, but this was something else. "Humans," Lyra said quietly, almost to herself. "You are not like the others. You think, you question, you explore. I want to understand why." Elias felt a shiver of excitement. This was why he became an explorer, to encounter the unknown, to learn, to understand. He didn't yet know what Lyra's intentions were, but he trusted, at least for now, that she meant no harm. The hours passed quickly as they spoke. Lyra explained the planet's ecosystem, the balance of energy, the history of her people. Elias shared stories of Earth, of human innovation, courage, and determination. They exchanged ideas, a dialogue between species, bridging worlds with words and curiosity. As the alien sun began to set in the purple sky, casting long, colorful shadows across the crystal plains, Elias realized something profound. Humans were known for their resilience, for their drive to survive and to explore. And in this moment, on this alien world, he saw how that same spirit could inspire understanding between worlds. Lyra looked at him, her glowing eyes reflecting the last light of the day. "You are not like the others," she said again. "Perhaps humanity has potential beyond what I imagined. Perhaps you can do what others cannot." Elias nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. He had come seeking answers, and he had found a new path, a new connection that could change the way humans and aliens interacted across the galaxy. As night fell, the crystal home shimmered softly around them. Elias felt both wonder and caution, excitement and curiosity. He knew his journey was only beginning, and that the alien woman he had thought innocent might have a deeper plan. But for now, in the quiet glow of her world, he allowed himself to trust, and for the first time in many years, Elias Kane felt truly alive. The next morning, Elias woke to the soft glow of Lyra's crystal home. Light seemed to flow from the walls themselves, casting gentle patterns across the room. For a moment, he lay still, marveling at the world around him. Nothing on Earth or in any part of human space had prepared him for this. Lyra entered silently, her eyes bright with curiosity. "Good morning, human. Did you sleep well?" Elias sat up, rubbing his eyes. Lyra smiled. "It is alive, in a way. The crystals respond to energy, thought, and presence. You humans have something similar in your minds. Curiosity, creativity, imagination. All forms of energy." Elias studied her closely. She spoke as if she understood humans better than most humans understood themselves. "You mean, my thoughts can affect this place?" "Yes," Lyra replied. "But only if you try. Most visitors are afraid, so they cannot sense the subtle flow. You, however, are different. You notice. You try." Intrigued, Elias rose and stepped toward a cluster of floating orbs. They hovered in the air, spinning slowly, casting tiny reflections across the crystal floor. He raised his hand. To his surprise, one orb drifted closer, as if responding to his motion. This is incredible," he said. "It's like the technology is alive." Lyra nodded. "It is not technology as you think of it. It is a combination of energy, life, and thought. My people have learned to harmonize machines with the natural world. They obey the mind, but not through force, through understanding." Elias walked carefully, observing more of the home. Panels shifted as he moved, almost as if the building was adjusting itself to his path. Doors appeared where walls had been. Corridors lengthened or shortened. It was unlike any architecture he had seen, fluid, responsive, alive. "Do all your people live like this?" Elias asked again. "No," Lyra said. "Some prefer simplicity. I have always been drawn to complexity, to understanding, to learning. That is why I sent the signal. I wish to meet you." Elias felt a thrill of excitement. Humans had always prided themselves on curiosity, ingenuity, and problem-solving. And here he was, in a place where curiosity mattered more than rank or strength. Lyra led him to a larger chamber, circular and open, with a central platform glowing with soft light. Around the edges floated panels displaying images, symbols, and charts. Elias recognized some patterns. They resembled star charts, energy flows, and what seemed like communication logs from across the galaxy. "What is all this?" Elias asked, stepping closer. Lyra gestured toward a panel that displayed moving images of planets, fleets, and strange structures. "This is a record of exploration, observation, and discovery. My people monitor civilizations, but not to harm. We observe, we learn, we understand. You, humans, are unique. Your species adapts, creates, and persists in ways others do not." Elias studied the panels, feeling both awe and a hint of unease. "You've been watching humans?" "Yes," Lyra said softly. "Not as enemies, but as potential allies. Potential equals responsibility. We wish to know if your species can act with reason, courage, and empathy, even when the odds are against you." Elias felt a surge of pride. Humans had always been underestimated by alien civilizations. Their creativity, tenacity, and willingness to take risks often gave them an advantage that more advanced species overlooked. Lyra guided him to another section of the chamber, where strange devices floated in midair. They emitted gentle hums and pulses of light. One device resembled a globe, its surface swirling with glowing streams of energy. Elias reached out, and the globe responded, spinning faster, projecting holographic images of distant stars and planets. "This is amazing," he breathed. "It's like it can show any world in the galaxy." Lyra nodded. "It can. But it is not just a map. It is a tool for understanding. We can study energy flows, civilizations, and natural phenomena. And yet, no matter how advanced we are, there are things we cannot predict. That is where humans intrigue us. You act in ways machines cannot. You think creatively, with heart as well as mind." Elias felt a mixture of excitement and unease. He had come seeking answers, but each discovery raised more questions. "Why me? Why not send one of your own to study humans?" Lyra's eyes reflected the light of the floating devices. "I wish to see how humans interact naturally. I wanted to see your mind in action, unguarded. To understand not just your strength or skill, but your character, your judgment." Many species observe from afar, but they fail to grasp the human spirit. That is what I wish to understand. Elias stepped back, absorbing her words. Humans were often underestimated. They were seen as weaker, less advanced, and reckless. Yet here, on this alien planet, an entire civilization was curious about them. Seeking to learn from their unpredictability, he spent hours exploring the chamber, examining devices that seemed impossible. A small platform floated above the floor, projecting holograms of alien wildlife. Another orb displayed intricate energy patterns of nearby stars. Elias realized that the technology was not just advanced, it was intelligent, capable of responding to thought, emotion, and intention. As the day passed, Elias grew more comfortable, more confident. He realized that humans had a unique advantage in this situation: creativity, imagination, and the ability to think beyond rules and logic. While the alien technology was impressive, it was bound by patterns, algorithms, and pre-programmed responses. Humans, however, could surprise even the most advanced systems. Lyra observed him silently, noting his reactions. You notice human. You see patterns, and yet you question them. That is what makes you different. That is why I wish to meet you. To understand if your species is ready for more than survival, to see if humans can inspire cooperation, creativity, and courage in the galaxy. Elias felt a sense of purpose he had never known before. This was not just an exploration mission, it was a chance to show the strength of humanity, not through force, but through intellect, courage, and empathy. He could see how his actions here might matter far beyond himself, far beyond Earth. As night fell, Lyra guided him to a viewing platform overlooking the crystal plains. Stars stretched across the sky. Thousands of points of light, in patterns Elias could barely comprehend. The planet itself seemed alive, pulsing gently with energy. Tomorrow, we will explore more, Lyra said softly. There is much to learn. And I wish to see your mind at work. You will see things no human has ever seen before. But remember, human, the galaxy is vast, and not all knowledge is safe. You must think, question, and decide carefully. Elias nodded, staring out at the stars. He felt a mixture of excitement, curiosity, and cautious determination. Humans had always faced challenges, and they had always overcome them. Here, on a world of living crystals and intelligent technology, he realized that the human spirit was as important as any weapon, any tool, or any advanced system. For the first time, Elias Kane understood the truth of Lyra's words. Humans were unpredictable, creative, and capable of greatness. And in this place, their ingenuity would be tested not by force, but by curiosity, courage, and the ability to understand the unknown. As he settled down for the night, the crystal home pulsed gently around him. Elias felt both awe and determination. The galaxy was full of mysteries. And here, with Lyra, he had found the first of many challenges and the first of many opportunities to prove what humanity could achieve. Elias awoke to the soft, shifting light of Lyra's crystal home, feeling a strange mixture of excitement and unease. Yesterday had been full of wonder, with the intelligent technology and responsive structures leaving him amazed. Yet, a small part of him whispered that he had only scratched the surface of Lyra's world. After breakfast, which consisted of a nutrient-rich, glowing food that Lyra prepared with a simple gesture, she motioned for him to follow. There is something I want to show you, she said, her voice calm but carrying a quiet gravity. Elias nodded, curiosity sharpening. They moved deeper into the home, into corridors Elias had not yet explored. The walls here were different, less fluid, more structured, with panels that flickered faintly with symbols he did not understand. The air had a faint hum, more insistent than the gentle music of the rest of the home. This way, Lyra said, stopping in front of a smooth, metallic wall. She extended her hand, and a section of the wall shimmered and disappeared, revealing a hidden chamber. Elias stepped inside, his heart racing. The room was filled with screens, holographic displays, and devices unlike anything he had seen before. What is all this? He asked, his voice low. The room was silent, except for the soft hum of energy, and the lights of countless screens reflected in his eyes. Lyra's expression was serious. This is the observation chamber. Here, my people monitor worlds across the galaxy. We do not interfere. We watch, we learn, and we seek understanding. Elias felt a chill run down his spine. You've been watching humans? Lyra nodded. Not as enemies, Commander, not as threats. We wish to understand your kind, to see if humans are ready for the challenges of the galaxy. Your species is unpredictable. You adapt, you create, you surprise us. He took a step closer, examining the displays. They showed images of human colonies, spaceships, and strange alien worlds. Some screens displayed the energy flows of entire planets, Others showed fleets moving across star systems. This is incredible. You've been studying humans for how long? Number. Lyra hesitated. Long enough to see that your kind is capable of greatness, but also enough to see that humans can be reckless, emotional, and at times, dangerous to themselves. That is why understanding is necessary. Observation teaches caution, as well as opportunity. Elias's mind raced. Humans had always been underestimated by alien civilizations, often seen as weaker or less advanced. Yet here was an entire species, centuries ahead in technology, studying humanity not to conquer, but to learn. And he, one man, had been invited into the heart of this observation. Why me? He asked quietly. Why not just continue watching from afar? Lyra's eyes glimmered with a faint, thoughtful light. Because you are human in a way that is exemplary. You are curious, brave, and willing to question. Many humans are capable of such traits, but few show them in ways that inspire trust. I wish to see these qualities in action, in real time, without the filters of distance or communication delays. Elias felt a swell of pride. Humans had always been problem solvers, innovators, and explorers. They had survived against odds that other species might have considered impossible. And here, in this alien chamber, their abilities were being recognized, not with fear, but with respect. He moved toward a panel that displayed a map of the galaxy. Streams of light traced paths between star systems, some bright, some dim. He noticed markers over human colonies, but also over planets humans had not yet reached. You've mapped human expansion, he said slowly. But these markers, some are beyond our current reach. Lyra nodded. We track potential as well as current capabilities. Humans grow quickly, adapt even faster. There are worlds you might not yet imagine reaching, and yet, you have the creativity to find ways. That is why your species is fascinating. Elias realized that Lyra's purpose was not only observation, it was testing. She wanted to see human ingenuity in action, to understand how humans might solve problems that no machine or advanced alien system could predict. And in that moment, he felt a sense of duty, greater than any mission he had undertaken. Show me more, he said, his curiosity stronger than any fear. Lyra led him to a set of devices that seemed to respond to thought rather than touch. One projected a three-dimensional hologram of a distant star system. The planets rotated, moons orbited, and energy flows shimmered across the surfaces. Elias extended his hand, and the hologram shifted in response, zooming into planets, showing climates, and even subtle signs of life. These systems, Elias said, his voice barely above a whisper, they're alive in ways we don't understand. How do you even begin to track all of this? Lyra smiled faintly. We do not track everything, only what matters. And even then, we rely on intuition, observation, and understanding of patterns. Machines alone cannot predict the human mind. That is why you are here, Elias Kane, to demonstrate human potential. Elias spent hours exploring the chamber. He touched panels that responded to curiosity, manipulated holograms that adjusted to thought, and observed simulations of entire civilizations. Each interaction revealed the depth of the alien technology, but also its limitations. Humans could imagine solutions beyond patterns, think creatively where logic failed, and act with courage where machines hesitated. As he worked, a realization struck him. The alien species that Lyra belonged to may be technologically superior, but humans had something they did not: ingenuity, courage, and the will to act in ways that no system could predict. And in that moment, Elias felt a deep sense of pride in his species. Lyra watched him silently, as if reading his thoughts. You see, human, it is not enough to be clever. It is not enough to have tools. Greatness comes from the combination of thought, courage, and heart. Humans possess this. That is why your species is rare in the galaxy. That is why I wished to meet you. Elias nodded slowly. He understood now that this was more than observation, it was an opportunity, a test, and a lesson all in one. Humans were being noticed, not for conquest, but for potential, for the ability to inspire and lead. As the alien sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long, violet shadows across the crystal plains, Elias felt a mixture of awe, determination, and cautious excitement. There was much he did not understand. But one thing was clear. Humans could achieve greatness, and he had been given a glimpse of how that might happen on a galactic scale. Lyra's voice broke the silence. Tomorrow, you will see the most advanced simulations. You will face scenarios designed to test your judgment, creativity, and courage. Remember, human, the galaxy does not wait. Those who hesitate may be left behind. But those who act with wisdom and bravery may shape the future. Elias looked out at the vast horizon, feeling the weight of her words. The galaxy was full of mysteries, challenges, and opportunities. And humans, his species, had the potential to meet them, not through technology alone, but through their spirit, courage, and ingenuity. For the first time in his life, Elias Kane understood that humanity was not just surviving in the universe, they were capable of shaping it. And in that realization, he found a sense of purpose greater than any mission, any fleet, or any achievement he had ever known. The morning sun on Gliese 9-4b bathed the crystal plains in a soft purple glow. Elias Kane stood on the edge of Lyra's home, staring out at the vast horizon. He felt a strange mix of excitement and nerves. Today, Lyra had promised him something different, a test designed not to harm him, but to see the human mind at work. You are ready, Lyra said, appearing beside him silently. Today, you will face scenarios that require judgment, creativity, and courage. You must choose, think, and act. Do not rely on tools alone. Humans succeed when thought and heart work together. Elias nodded. I understand. But what kind of scenarios? Lyra's eyes glimmered. You will see. Follow me. They walked through the flowing corridors of her home, the walls shimmering as if alive. Elias noticed small changes in the light and the movement of the panels. It was as though the structure anticipated his steps. They arrived in a large circular chamber, its floor glowing faintly. In the center floated a series of holographic projections. Here, Lyra said, is a simulation of a conflict. A planet in distress. Systems failing. Resources limited. Your task is to restore balance. You may observe, you may act, but your solutions must be creative and ethical. Machines will predict patterns, but only humans can think beyond patterns. Elias studied the projection. It showed a planet with sprawling cities, energy grids flickering, and rivers of light likely representing power or information flows disrupted by natural disasters and technological failures. The challenge was clear. Restore harmony without causing harm. He took a deep breath. Humans were known for improvisation, innovation, and courage. He had solved impossible problems before, but never on a scale like this. He started moving his hands, interacting with the holograms. Panels shifted, streams of energy realigned, and nodes of power pulsed in response. Yet every choice required judgment. One wrong move, and entire systems could collapse. Lyra watched silently, her expression unreadable. Humans tend to act quickly, she said. Machines follow rules. You must balance speed with wisdom. Elias's mind raced. He observed patterns in the energy flows, identifying weak points and bottlenecks. He thought of how humans solve problems creatively, sometimes unpredictably, often by connecting unrelated ideas. Slowly, he began rearranging the flows, rerouting energy, and stabilizing systems in ways the machines did not anticipate. Hours passed. The holographic planet responded to his adjustments, gradually stabilizing. Cities lit up. Rivers of energy flowed smoothly, and the disruptions began to vanish. Elias smiled. Humans had a unique advantage: creativity. They could see possibilities where rigid systems saw only constraints. Then a new challenge appeared in the simulation: A cluster of asteroids was on a collision course with one of the planet's cities. Automated defenses failed to respond correctly. They followed predictable paths and could not adapt to sudden changes. Elias realized that this was the moment machines would fail, and humans could succeed. He focused, drawing on his experience as a commander and problem solver. He redirected energy flows, creating a temporary shield around the city. He then guided the asteroids into a safe trajectory, using the planet's own gravitational energy. The solution was unconventional, unexpected, and effective. Lyra's eyes glimmered brighter. You see, Elias Kane? Machines calculate patterns, but humans act where patterns fail. Creativity and courage allow your species to succeed where others would hesitate. Elias nodded, feeling a surge of pride. Humans had always faced impossible odds, survived, and thrived. Even with superior technology, alien civilizations often underestimated the human mind's ability to innovate. Here, in Lyra's chamber, he had demonstrated that truth. The simulation shifted again, presenting another problem. This time, a network of colonies was suffering from a mysterious energy disruption. Automated solutions suggested shutting down power entirely. But Elias could see the consequences: panic, economic collapse, and environmental damage. Humans had a better way: adaptation without destruction. He studied the system, looking for overlooked opportunities. Then he acted, connecting energy nodes in a pattern the machines had not predicted. Gradually, power returned, flows balanced, and colonies stabilized. The simulation acknowledged his solution, and Elias felt a quiet satisfaction. Lyra approached, her voice soft but filled with approval. You demonstrate what many species cannot: balance of mind and heart. Humans succeed not by predicting everything, but by thinking, imagining, and daring to act. That is why your kind fascinates us. That is why I wanted to meet you. Elias breathed deeply, realizing the weight of her words. Humans were often underestimated, labeled as reckless or primitive by other species. Yet here, on this distant planet, an alien civilization acknowledged their potential, not for war or conquest, but for problem-solving, ingenuity, and courage. Your species is remarkable, Lyra continued. You think beyond rules, beyond patterns, and beyond what machines consider possible. You adapt. You create. You inspire. That is the true measure of strength. Elias felt a sense of purpose he had never experienced. Humans were more than tools, more than soldiers or engineers. They were thinkers, innovators, and survivors capable of shaping the future in ways even advanced alien technology could not predict. The day drew to a close, and the simulations ended. The chamber returned to its calm, soft glow. Elias felt exhausted, but exhilarated. He had faced challenges, made decisions, and demonstrated the human advantage, ingenuity, and courage. Lyra stood beside him, watching the crystal plains outside. Tomorrow, you will learn why humans are not only survivors but potential leaders in the galaxy. But for now, rest. You have proven yourself today. Elias looked out at the horizon, thinking of Earth, of his crew, and of the potential humans held. He realized that their strength was not in weapons or machines, but in their ability to act where others hesitated, to think beyond patterns, and to face challenges with courage and creativity. As night fell, the crystal home shimmered softly around him. Elias felt a sense of pride, not just in himself, but in humanity. The galaxy was full of mysteries and challenges, and humans were ready to meet them, not as followers, but as innovators, problem solvers, and leaders. For the first time, Elias Kane truly understood the words Lyra had spoken. Humanity's strength was not in what it had, but in what it could do. And in that realization, he felt a sense of destiny that went far beyond a single mission or planet. Humans were capable of greatness, and he had been given the chance to prove it. The morning sky over Gliese 94b was a brilliant swirl of violet and gold, casting long shadows across the crystal plains. Elias Kane stood on a high platform of Lyra's home, looking out at the vast, shimmering landscape. After days of exploration, study, and tests, he felt a mixture of pride, curiosity, and anticipation. Today was different today. Lyra intended to reveal the purpose behind everything he had experienced. "You are ready," Lyra said, her voice calm but resonant with importance. "You have shown ingenuity, courage, and wisdom. You have faced challenges that tested mind and heart alike. Now, it is time to understand why humans matter in the galaxy." Elias turned to her, trying to read her expression. She seemed serene, but there was an intensity in her eyes that made him alert. "I'm ready," he said, though a small part of him wondered what revelation awaited. Lyra gestured, and the walls of the platform shimmered, displaying a holographic map of the galaxy. Streams of light marked trade routes, colonies, and planets with signs of life. Elias could see human settlements, their ships, and the paths they had taken to explore the stars. Other markers, some in unfamiliar shapes, indicated alien civilizations. "My people have watched humanity for a long time," Lyra began. "Not as enemies, not as conquerors. We sought to understand your species, to see whether humans could rise above survival, whether you could act with judgment, creativity, and empathy where others would fail. You have shown us the answer." Elias studied the map, feeling a surge of pride. Humans had always been underestimated, seen as primitive or reckless. Yet here, in the heart of an advanced civilization's observation, he realized that humans were being recognized for what they truly were: capable of greatness. Lyra's gaze turned to him. "We face challenges across the galaxy that cannot be solved by machines alone. Civilizations that rely only on technology stagnate. Humans have something rare: ingenuity, courage, and the willingness to act when logic fails. That is why you are important. That is why I invited you here." Elias felt the weight of her words. It was more than personal recognition, it was a message for all of humanity. Their creativity, courage, and spirit were qualities that could change the galaxy. Lyra continued, guiding him to a smaller chamber, where a series of glowing devices floated in midair. One projected a simulation of a distant planet in crisis. The holographic displays showed natural disasters, failing systems, and populations in distress. "This is not a test," Lyra said. "This is a real scenario. One day, humans may face challenges across the stars that require judgment, innovation, and courage. You have proven that your species is capable of meeting them." Elias studied the simulation carefully. He could see potential solutions, some conventional, some creative. Machines could predict outcomes, but humans could imagine options that no algorithm could foresee. He moved his hands, adjusting flows of energy, stabilizing systems, and rerouting resources. Step by step, the planet began to recover. Lyra watched, her eyes reflecting both admiration and curiosity. "See how humans act beyond patterns, beyond expectations. Machines cannot predict your ingenuity. That is the advantage of your kind. That is why you matter." Elias felt a sense of purpose that went beyond any mission he had ever undertaken. Humanity's strength was not just survival or technology, it was imagination, courage, and the ability to act when others hesitated. After hours of observation and discussion, Lyra led Elias back to the platform overlooking the crystal plains. The sky was now deep violet, stars beginning to shimmer in the distance. "You have a choice," she said softly. "You may return to your people with knowledge and technology that will advance humanity. Or you may remain here, as an ambassador, a bridge between our species and yours, helping guide understanding across the galaxy." Elias considered the offer carefully. Returning home meant sharing the wonders he had seen, the technology, and the knowledge. Staying meant dedicating his life to interstellar diplomacy. Both options were extraordinary, but one thought guided him. Humanity was ready to step forward, to meet the galaxy with courage, intelligence, and creativity. I will return, Elias said finally. My people need to know what we are capable of. They need to understand that we can face the unknown and act with wisdom and courage. Lyra nodded. Then go with our blessing. Take what you have learned and show your species what humans can achieve. You have proven that potential is not measured by technology alone, but by heart, mind, and spirit. Elias felt a surge of pride. Humans had always been explorers, problem solvers, and dreamers. Now, he realized, the galaxy itself was taking notice. The human advantage, creativity, courage, and ingenuity was their true strength. Before leaving, Lyra handed him a small device, a crystalline orb that pulsed gently. This will help you communicate with us and with other species we observe. Use it wisely. It is a symbol of trust and a reminder that humans are not alone in the universe. We and Awode. Elias accepted the orb, feeling the energy hum through his hand. Thank you, Lyra, for everything. You are welcome, human. Go and show your species the truth. Humans are capable of greatness, and the galaxy awaits your courage. With that, Elias returned to his spacecraft, the crystalline orb safely stored. As he prepared for departure, he looked back at Lyra's home, its walls shimmering in the fading light. It was more than a building, it was a symbol of knowledge, understanding, and the potential for cooperation across species. The engines roared to life, and the ship lifted from the crystal plains. Elias watched the alien planet shrink below him, its beauty and intelligence etched into his memory. Ahead lay the vast galaxy, full of mystery, challenge, and opportunity. Humans were ready not as followers, but as innovators, problem solvers, and leaders. As he charted a course for Earth, Elias thought about what he had learned. Humans had strength beyond weapons and technology. Their true power was their mind, their courage, and their heart. They could imagine solutions, act when others hesitated, and inspire cooperation across civilizations. For the first time, Elias Kane truly understood the potential of his species. Humanity was not merely surviving, it was ready to thrive, to lead, and to shape the galaxy. And he, as a witness and messenger, would carry that message back to his people. The stars stretched endlessly before him, glowing points of possibility and challenge. Elias felt a quiet determination. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and dangers. But humans were prepared. They could rise to any challenge, solve any problem, and inspire others along the way. As the ship left Gliesa 94b behind, Elias Kane whispered to himself, a promise to the stars and to humanity. We are ready. We are capable, and the galaxy will know what it means to face humans. The ship accelerated, leaving trails of light behind, carrying humanity's courage, creativity, and spirit toward the infinite unknown. Elias looked forward, knowing that the journey had only just begun, and that humans, with all their imperfections and brilliance, would shape the stars in ways no one could yet imagine.